If you want to do so.
Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to our NXT Stand and Deliver review. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys have caught up on some of your sleep if you've been doing it back to back and going for it, like some of us have. Going forward, so we're going to go through night 1 and night 2 of NXT Stand and Deliver, and we're going to give an overall view and what we think will happen moving forward. Don't forget, before we get into that, down below in the description is a link to all of our social media pages, and don't forget to go and subscribe, like, follow, all that good stuff as well while you're here. NXT Stand and Deliver, I think, was the most hyped promotion in WWE other than Mania. I think we all could agree beforehand was going to be the card for both nights was absolutely stacked from beginning to end, and it was all about whether they could deliver or not. So, what we're going to be doing in this episode is going through night 1 to start off with, talking about it, try and go through it, but try and not dilly-dally around on it as much, but chat about it, what we think. Then we're going to go through our predictions as well through night 1 while we're doing it. And then we will go on to night 2 and do exactly the same thing. Don't forget already, our WrestleMania preview is out already, where you will be able to listen to us and hear what we think. There was a match that has been added, that we have added to our predictions over that as well. The women's gauntlet tag team that's happening at Mania night 1 and night 2. That's been added to our predictions. We did get to do that on when we were doing it because it wasn't announced when we were doing it, so we didn't do it.
Oh yeah, last minute, wasn't it?
Right, let's get into it. Night 1. Let's go with the very first match before I go off on one at certain matches. Night 1, Pete Dunne versus Kushida. Let's all agree to announce who is the best technical wrestler in the world. Pete Dunne or Kushida. I think we both said Dunne. We did put on our predictions because we might have forgotten to put that on. But I think we both said Dunne for that. What did you think of the match in general?
I mean, I'll be fair first. Obviously, I wasn't too keen on like the way they built it up because it was just a bit. It did sound like it was just randomly, put together.
Do you know what the funniest thing
Yeah,
was? You
well,
say
yeah,
that. I was watching WWE The Bump on
right.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Was it Tuesday or Wednesday? Basically,
All right.
Triple H turned around and said that there was a meeting in there where William Regal just turned around and said, I've always wanted to see Kushida versus Dunne, so I'm booking the match.
Okay.
William Regal was like, I want to see this. I want to see both of them. I think they could create an extremely good match, and I'm going to create it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think we all can agree. Thank you, William Regal, for doing that. I think that you didn't really need. I think it was one of those matches that you didn't really need a build up. You knew how good these two were. You knew how good Pete Dunne was. You know how good Kushida is. I think it was all about how they would perform in that ring.
I mean, I'm not saying I had a problem with I don't have a problem with Kushida or Pete Dunne. I'm just saying I just thought it was randomly, it just came out of nowhere. It was just out of the blue. And yeah, I mean, like I said, all that set aside, obviously we can't argue with William Regal because he knows what's good and all. So nothing wrong there. To get to the match, I think I've tweeted as well. I said this was Kushida's best match in ages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, without doubt. I think like I felt bad that I knew he was going to lose anyway, but I think that this was probably the most. I think this is probably the best he's ever performed, like since he's come on the NXT, because he gave us a taste of what he can do, and I can't really say I was ever really that sold on him. But I think in the past 6 months, maybe now, I've started taking a bit more of a liking to him. I'm not saying I had a problem with him before. I mean, I remember when he came, he was tagging along with Breezango. And I remember he got to show he's a bit of a funny guy as well, which I think is good because it's always good to see these guys coming in and have a bit of personality and whatnot. But I wanted to see more of what made him famous to begin with. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this match he had with Pete Dunne really brought out his more technical side. Showed that he can really go. And yeah, I think this was definitely his best match in a while.
I
in a
agree.
long time. I reckon that when his career is done with WWE, that'll be one of his most talked about matches. You know,
Yeah, and it's one of those matches where I think we all knew how good this match was going to be. It was always going to be
yeah.
if they were going to deliver. And I feel like I think there's one thing you can say about Pete Dunne is people may talk about him being a heel or a face or anything like that, but anytime that man steps in that ring, you know that that match is going to be good.
Oh, 100%, 100%. He
Every
is one of
time.
I've always thought him as a great performer. You know, I think he's yeah. I've still got so many dream matches I want to see with this kid.
Mm.
Kevin Owens comes to mind, Seth Rollins comes to mind. Fucking AJ Styles.
There's
Sorry,
Daniel Bryan is one of them I really want to see as well.
Bryan, yeah.
I'd love to see
And
that. But yeah, so we go from that, which we all agree was a great match, to the Gauntlet, with LA Knight, Dexter Lumis, Swerve Scott, Bronson Reed, and Leon Ruff. Leon Ruff and Swerve Scott kicked it off. Then LA, was it Dexter Lumis? No, Bronson Reed, then Dexter Lumis, then
I
LA
had a bit
Knight.
of a problem in between that match because I obviously was at work, so I had to
Hmm.
stop what I was doing. I was watching my phone, so I had to stop what I was doing. Quite carrying the phone, try to watch around. So when Eli Drake came on and that was doing his thing on the mic, I kind of missed what he was saying. So what did he say on the mic? Do you
He
remember?
basically just shit on them all.
Okay.
Basically, the thing of it was he just shit on them, saying how good he was compared to them all. He was a better wrestler, better person, better this, better than that. I was like, okay,
I feel
cool.
I didn't like the way they. I don't like the way they're using him right now. I mean, I think that should have really been his moment because it's just like it's one of those things that makes me question which direction they're going to go with him. But if it's going to be a feud with Dexter,
I
I haven't
don't
got a
think that
problem with
should be
that. But I
his
just
moment
think,
at all. He hasn't done anything in NXT for him to prove to
but
go
I'm
forward.
saying no. But what I'm saying is, I think that would have been a great moment to skyrocket him and get him to that level, which he
But
never
he
really got
hasn't
to
done
reach
anything
in
yet to
the.
skyrocket.
I'm
All he's
saying
done
that could
so
have been his
far is
moment, and he
talk.
could have shown why. But look at KO when he came; he skyrocketed like 3 weeks into it. Was an
Yeah,
NXT
but that was
champion in
because
like
of
less than a
Sami
month.
Zayn. That was all because of his friendship with Sami
Yeah,
Zayn.
but you could argue he was, pushed before he was even, before everyone else. But that's another story. But I'm just saying that they could have gone that way with him. That
Uh,
said, let's get to the last two because we all know the story on this one. You know, I think, yeah, I don't know how you feel about Isaiah. I'm not going to get into too much about that, but I think that you can't deny he gave a hell of a performance, against Reed. That those kicks to the face, they look brutal as fuck. And I think that was a star-making moment right there, hands down. But I think Reed deserves it just a bit more. I'll give it to him.
hold
And
on 1 second. All right, and we're back. No, I've just had a bit of a
lovely.
rant, but we're all good. So we were getting into that. The final two, I think we were talking about Swerve Scott and
Yeah,
Bronson Reed in the end. It looks like as well moving forward that the two guys that we picked to win that didn't win, Loomis and LA Knight,
yeah.
will be going on
Which is
for
funny
a
because they're fighting each other now.
yeah, and I think that's a really good way for both of them to pick up where they left off and what they need to do, and also gain a bit of momentum in any ground. And it's also good not to have non-title feuds as well. And I think this could be, especially with the chemistry of this, could be interesting. LA Knight loves to talk, great on the mic. Dexter
Mhm.
Lumis doesn't say anything. Um, this has got a mixture for something that's going to be really
I
good.
think I think it'll be interesting to see because Eli, from what I've seen, he's always been a bit of a funny guy on the microphone, and I don't know how well you know him, but I know they used to be when before he came to TNA as well. He was wrestling in some promotion. I can't remember what it was called. He had Paul Bearer as his manager. When he was in his last years,
Mm.
and yeah. What I'm trying to say is that he's the kind of guy who you can put in with just about anyone, and he can make it gold. That's what I like about him. And it'll be so funny to see how the loudmouth does with a guy who doesn't even say anything.
Yeah.
That's what I think will be the highlight of it all. But back to what I was saying earlier between Reed and Scott, I think them two had a great final bout, and it really just what I'm saying, you really thought that it was going to go one way because of the way Reed sold the hell out of everything. The kicks looked like it was going to be that monster was going to go down by the final blow, and he comes out and he what does he do again? It was the tsunami splash, wasn't it? Yeah, he does that. big win, and I was like, I liked it. I think that was a star-making moment for both of them, and I'm hoping that. Well, I was hoping that'll be the moment where they finally give Reed the big goal, but we'll get into that one later.
I think it was more of a moment for Reed than it was Scott. I still am not sold on Scott at all.
That's fine, but you can't
Um,
deny that was a good moment, though.
I think what his selling, you can't deny how good his selling is. His selling of moves is very, very good. His character, I don't get at all. I don't understand it. I don't
Well,
get.
I can
I
explain it to you.
don't
He's
get.
basically,
I don't understand what he's trying to portray at all.
well, he's basically a star. If you've watched just promos, he's done that thing where he's like making music and stuff. That's what he is in real life. He's an artist.
But then at the same time, he's also doing. Everyone gets other opportunities than I do. So basically, he's Christian. One more match all over again.
I wouldn't say that. I think he's just that kind of guy
It's
who thinks
too
that he's the like.
generic.
If
He's
you're
not.
fair enough. I'm not giving it.
No.
I'm not
For
taking anything away from
me,
that. I agree where you're coming
my
from.
opinion is he's not standing out. He's not standing
Okay,
out in
fair
front
enough.
of everyone. So the way that I look at it is if someone comes onto the screen, I instantly know
Excuse
who
me.
their characters and what they're doing. I look at Bronson Reed and I go, this guy can fly and he's big. Leon Ruff, the guy that's going to you can do little moves that just will make you go, how is that humanly possible? But at the same time,
Leon is
people
good,
can
but
get
even
easily
and
destroyed.
I think he's generic as well with the whole smiling
No,
thing.
no,
I
no,
mean, I
no, no,
remember
no.
we've seen
Leon
plenty
Ruff
of
has a
guys with the
character.
smiling stuff.
He's that
I
Spider-Man,
don't see it though.
that real
That's
life
the thing.
Spider-Man type of
That's the
thing.
thing. So when you see character there, I can't see it there. So it's kind of funny how he goes there. But I'll
LA
say this.
Knight, you know that. Dexter Loomis, Scott, they're just is not a character. It's just the generic.
What I'll
Everyone gets
say is
more opportunities than me, so I deserve an opportunity. Just he needs to find something that, in
what I
my
will say
opinion,
is that
will
it is
stand out.
confusing what they did with him though, because I remember when they had him with what's his name again? His name escapes me. Oh man,
The 205
he's
bloke.
been on. Yeah, the yeah, well, he was Tahiti Miles. Now he's Adonis, the Ashanti. Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they had them together, I thought they could have done something well with them, as a tag team or something along those lines. And I don't know why they keep. It's one of those things that I hate to say about NXT is they have this habit of going one thing and then they scrap it the next week. That's one thing which I hate to call out for. But yeah, they have this habit of doing that. So I think they should have really gone that direction for him. But I'll see where this one goes. But moving on to the next one. Yeah.
Moving on to the next one, the Triple Threat Tag Team Championship match. You got Grizzled Young Veterans, you got MSK, and you got the Escobar Boys in there, who don't deserve a name. They're just called Escobar Boys.
Oh Jesus!
So
I'll just say this. I like the tag team match. I think everyone delivered in it. I think they all upped their game in it. What was I
tell you,
yeah, I think.
So
Yeah, go for it.
I was listening to commentary and I was listening to what's going on. I think we both picked MSK to win. I also would be happy if Grizzled Young Veterans would win because I think what they do for the tag team division is massive. But is it Phantasma? Is that what they're called?
El Legado del Fantasma.
Yeah, they had something to prove, and they needed. And people will say yes, and people say, and I think it was Wade Barrett said that they are going to be the dark horses because they needed something to prove. Or I heard somewhere someone say that, and I looked at it and I went, yeah, because they're not a tag team. They're not a legitimate tag team. They're the bodyguards for Escobar. They're not at the tag team wrestling week in and week out, where MSK are a legitimate tag team. Grizzled Young Veterans are absolutely a tag team, but they're not. So they had to do things differently. They had to stand out in this match to prove to people that they could be or can be a legitimate tag team in the future. And in my opinion, they did. I think that was the first time that I really got sold on them two without Escobar. Okay. And I was really sold on them until night 2. But on night 1, I was really sold on them. MSK, Wesley, who, by the way, liked my post on Twitter. Thank you, Wes. We're friends now. He's gonna teach me how to do all that high flying shit. Imagine me trying to fly anyway. Who I think the MSK as a combine is just unreal. They are so quick, so fast. Wesley is so strong. Nash Carter has just got that thing about him that you just know something's going to happen in the match. And I think and I want to point this out as well. I was watching, as I said, I was watching The Bump, and Triple H and Shawn Michaels were on there, just as the first guest to discuss what's going up on the show. And they were talking about this match, and they said the winner of this match will be the winner of the tag team who has the highest IQ in the ring. And I didn't really understand what they meant by that. And then they explained it. They said basically is you know where your opponent is before your opponent knows that they're going to be there. So you are already in your body shape, already in the move to go and do something, to go and get it done. And it really proved to me that hot tag that Nash Carter did to Wesley when he come in, and he didn't even need to look or anything, and people were there. And I know it's all scripted. I know that they're meant to be.
I mean, I did understand. I think that a lot of times it depends who the script also favors as well. So
but at the same time, but for them, for the moves they did, for the timings they were when they did the moves, to the everything about that was spot on with all three of them. So for me, MSK deserved those titles. Grizzled Young Veterans deserved it, and if Phantasma won it, I think, in my opinion, I think they would have deserved it as well. At the end, all three of them put a bout in.
I'll be fair.
Really say that they all three of them deserve to win it.
I'll be fair. I think that if you really go to the next guy should hold it should be GYV first, and then the Legado guys, because I feel like they pretty much shown that they're the ones who are on the NXT tag team division, if you will, and I think that they could actually build that tag team division around those guys, and yeah, I think that they really proved. Like I actually would love to see all three of those guys take it even further. I think this might be a bit of a stretch, so apologies if you think this is a stretch from me, but I think that we could see a bit of a Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian and Hardy Boys chemistry with those guys. I think we could go continue this even further with them.
That'd be interesting. I like to see what they do with all three of them. I hope they don't go back to the Escobar boys going back to being bodyguards again, and not really doing anything in the tag team division.
The thing is, you have to understand what it is when they brought them in. They're like, you have to look at where the story started. When Santos, when he was still Phantasma, he came in and he won the tournament on his own, and then after that, then he brought them in. Their part has always been to be his bodyguards, so the focus has always been for them to be there whenever he's there. That's how the story's always worked, and I feel like it's kind of like when, if you think about it, they're supposed to be there to get that little rub while they're doing that role. It's like when Paul Heyman was supposed to be the manager for Cesaro, but Cesaro wasn't the main focus. It was getting over the fact that Brock Lesnar was the guy who broke the Undertaker's streak. So literally, it was always Brock broke the streak. Blah blah blah. Oh yeah, that's Cesaro right there. That's kind of how it was. You understand? It's kind of the same thing with Phantasma. I'm the cruiserweight guys, and those are my bodyguards. I'm the cruiserweight champion bodyguards. That's kind of how it's always been built around. So it's like the hope was that they get that slight rub, and then you get the interest from it. So I'll be fair, it may not have worked as much, but they got more TV time out of it. They could have just been the guys in the background.
Yeah.
So that's it. I think that this might be their way of moving up into the moving their way up into the tag team division. But all that said, I think the main focus we should really be saying is big congratulations to MSK for that. They well deserved. I know there was definitely some bumps on the road, because I can't remember which one it was that had a broken wrist or something. What I'm talking about? Was it? Who might be that? Yeah, I can't remember. One of those two had a broken wrist or something. Yeah. They had to hold it back. So I think it's been a long one for them, and they could have even been held back even longer on it. So it's good to see them holding the tag team gold, and let's see where it goes from there.
Exactly. We already know that because of the pre-show in night 2 that Killian Dane and Drake Maverick are the number 1 contenders for that title. So we'll be seeing that. We're not discussing that anymore.
I can't say I'm too sold on those two.
I'm not
I can't
discussing
see I'm too sold on them, to be honest.
let's just skip past that. Next one,
Yeah.
we're gonna go on the Ring General, Mein Kampf. Walter defending
General.
his United Kingdom Championship against Tommaso Blackheart Ciampa, who come out and
Killer.
look like the Tommaso Ciampa of the New Orleans takeover against Johnny Gargano. Looked
A bit more
absolutely.
manscaped.
He shaved his head, got his beard in the shape. It was like, oh, hello, Mr.
He
Ciampa.
shaved his chest. And he shaved his chest as well. That's the first time I've seen him shave like fully, scaped up in ages. So I think that
My opinion,
I think it was really like the whole point was coming fresh.
yeah, my opinion, this was match of night one. The best match.
I agree. I think that in my opinion was the match that was the match for night, to be honest.
Yeah. So I think
Yeah.
when we were all going into this, we all agreed that I think it was going to be between this and Pete Dunne's match with Kushida that was going to be the highlight of this. And I'll tell you what, I'll say this now. I don't think there is anyone in wrestling right now that can match or top what Walter does in a ring.
I think, might just sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna probably shrug when I say this, but I thought that there was a takeover in UK for some reason. I was watching NXT UK first time in ages.
The prelude.
And, the prelude or prelude, what we call it. So I was watching that. I saw the Tyler Bate match versus Noam Dar.
That was a great match.
I always thought Noam Dar was underrated, and I think that he deserves to be treated like a star at some point. Obviously, I saw the match between Millie McKenzie and Megan Sagamora versus Isla Dawn, who always was also underrated. And, hopefully we'll start at some point. And who else was in it?
Kaylee Ray.
Isla Dawn. Kaylee Ray, yeah, that's it. Kaylee Ray. That was a great match too. I think it looks like they're going to push Millie McKenzie to the moon by the sounds of it. So
looks like she's going to be the one that's going to dethrone Kaylee Ray.
But obviously, the match which I want to talk about was Rampage Brown versus Walter.
A match!
That match, I was, man, I don't know how to describe it. I think, sorry, I don't know what it is. I haven't seen Rampage Brown in ages. I remember last time I saw him was on the British wrestling program,
and
on
ITV.
I don't know why. ITV.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm probably gonna get hate for saying this, but for me, it's basically what Lars Sullivan would have been like if he was done right. You know what I mean? With the build and the beard and everything, it's just like I can imagine Vince is just looking at him being like, maybe I should have gone for this guy instead. But that said, the match overall was crazy, very hard hitting, and I think I'm actually surprised that Rampage wasn't the guy to take the title of him.
Yeah, I was very surprised, but I think because of night 2. I think we've probably decided. I think everyone on the internet has worked out who could be the one to dethrone Walter.
Drew McIntyre.
No. But we will get into that. I'll talk about that in a minute.
Because I've been seeing a lot of people tweeting that that's the match they want to see. So
there's a lot of matches I want to see Walter.
I'd love to see Cesaro versus Walter. I'd love to see. Man, I can think of a few myself. I can think of Cesaro. I can think of,
Kevin Owens.
Keith Lee. I know Keith Lee's faced him as well. KO. Why not? I'd say Sami Zayn, but we know he'd probably get killed in that. To be honest.
The issue with Walter is he won't move to America, and he won't live. He's already said. He's already said this numerous times that he won't ever leave.
But I think that there's the interest. I think, to me, every time somebody says that, I think it's just because they're playing hard to get as well.
No, I don't think he is. I think he's one of those where he's just so comfortable, where he can be an attraction. Where when he comes over, something special is going to happen.
But that's my point. That's what I'm trying to say is that I think that he's that guy who wants to be treated like an attraction. So that way, in a way, they'll give into it and say, "Okay, we'll treat you like the attraction. We'll give you the Brock Lesnar treatment. We'll call you when we need you. and we'll give you etc. I
I
think
don't
that's
think
what
he
he
likes
wants.
that. I don't think that's what he wants. He doesn't mind doing that in America, but in Europe, he wants to produce and create great matches in Europe. He wants to go around to all the independents in Germany, Austria, Portugal, England, Scotland, Ireland, and all of that, and become the guy that helps European wrestling. And he said it. I watched a global press conference, and someone gave him a question of, you're not someone who comes to America often. Why have you come out here? And he said, I didn't like the way Tommaso Ciampa is. I want to see the 2018, 2017 Tommaso Ciampa, the one that was the hard hitting, someone that would destroy people. Tommaso Ciampa has become a fool now. And he went in and just said, I want to see that.
Yeah, I saw it too. That
And then
conference.
doing
That
it.
was
And
the
I
NXT
was
one.
like, okay, you're not going to be here for long, but I understand why you're here now. And if Ciampa won as well, I would love to see Ciampa in the UK, doing UK NXT UK. I would love to see him. And he said it as well. He wants to face Bate Seven, Trent Seven, wants to face Noam Dar, Dave Mastiff, all these wrestlers as well. So I would love to see, I would love more of a crossover between NXT and NXT UK so we can have more of these
I mean, I'd like to see.
dream matches.
I mean, I'd like to see a crossover with all the freaking brands, because I think they can all, learn a thing from each other, about how
But
to make a start and
I
then
think
for yourself,
Survivor Series
etc.
weekend should be Raw versus SmackDown, Survivor
Yeah.
Series Sunday, and on the Saturday or the Friday should be NXT versus NXT UK. And then I think they're close, and I think they're close to agreeing, or they're trying to find a way of doing NXT Lucha, which will be in Mexico.
Yeah.
Well, I have seen reports of
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people criticizing that as well, but what I'm trying to say is that what am I trying to say? Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that I think the thing is that you got to get, in order to make that work, though, you got to get them all on the same level. You need to get the brands at least equally as popular as each other, because let's be honest, NXT has improved its popularity, is more well known now since they've come on the network. But NXT UK has still not reached that.
No, that's
reached
a
that
brand
has reached that
really
depth.
that's far behind, but it's slowly building. That's
But that's
building
my
its way up.
point, though, is that you can't just. But that's the thing, though. So you can't, like, that's the problem which I'm having with those. That you can't just, out of the blue, just bring these NXT UK guys that are only popular on the NXT UK programming. That's they've been watched there as well. But what I'm saying is that if they can get them to that popularity, then it will work. Definitely, 100%.
Yeah, I would love to see Gallus do something at some point as well. Then they haven't got the NXT titles at the moment. To the Pretty Little Things, whatever they're called, the weirdos. Right. Let's get on to the main event match that we all thought was going to do very, very well, and I think we were not disappointed. Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez for the Women's Championship.
I don't know if you saw my tweet on this, because I wasn't too keen on this. Because, like, honestly, the way I see it, man, is like this. If you've had somebody literally dominating you for weeks, throwing you through brick walls and shit and stuff like that, to me, Raquel should have just had her head off as soon as the bell went off. That's the way I saw it. To me, there's nothing stopping her. No kicks, none of the high flying shit. It's all in her game. No offense from her. Just all in from the get go, and that's it. That's the way I saw it should have been done. So that was really just my take on it overall. But I suppose they had to give you, if this was a send off, they had to give it some way or another. But I just wasn't too like it wasn't. Yeah.
It's interesting because I was the opposite to you. I really thought that this was going, and especially what really changed my mind was the global press conference, was the way that they created Io Shirai to have a bigger match day brain than what Raquel Gonzalez has, which to me then went, right, they're going to do something where Io's going to be that little one step ahead up until that final point, up until the ending of the power will just take over. And I think we saw that. We saw the power was being moved. I thought Raquel was selling a lot more than I was a little bit expecting, but I thought she did a very good job in that as well. And I think you have to do the Io Shirai spot where she has to leap off something really, really tall.
Even I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't too. When I look back on that, I was a bit more impressed. When I saw, it, I was just like, oh yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
But that said, moving on from it, I'm just gonna say that I just want Raquel to have a dominant reign. I don't want it to be a case of where she, I don't want to say freak female Brock Lesnar, but she has to be an unstoppable force.
It's going to be interesting now because we got Frankie Monnier,
Money,
which is
Taya Valkyrie.
yeah, she's coming in, and it also was on the press conference call afterwards with Triple H and Shawn Michaels. It has been Shawn Michaels has said that he wants Io to stay in NXT to face the women, and it looks like she will not be moving. But that could also be a double bluff where they just turn up a night after Mania. So at the same time, I don't know how you could, but it sounds like she could be staying in NXT just so that she can do that. One more question for you before we go on to night 2 for it. What was your out of 10? What would you rate night 1?
I mean, I'm just gonna be biased. I'm just gonna say 10. I didn't have any aside from one or two things. I don't think I had a big problem with it. I mean, I think it was a great show overall. So I think I was pretty happy with it. I mean, it got me more hyped. It got me, the point of night 1 is it's supposed to give you a taste of what the next night will be at, and get you, you don't want to sleep. You just want to keep, your mind is all about it. And I think night 1 did that for me. So I was pretty sold on that.
For me as
no
well.
problem there. No problem at all on that.
I'm gonna give night 1 an 8 out of 10. I thought it was good. Thought it was very, very good, but there were certain things in there where I thought was maybe a little bit too rushed. And also putting Scott in the final 2 was just a terrible idea and shouldn't have happened. So that gave it a -2 rating as well. So night 2 of NXT.
Can I just say that it felt great? As much as I'm not a big fan of the fans in general because I do my head in, but it was great to hear the fans making noise again after a long time. That felt so refreshing.
It was nice to see fans back in there and all adhering to the protocol as well. At night 2, it was kicked off by the true NXT Cruiserweight Champion Jordan Devlin versus the fake NXT Cruiserweight Champion Escobar, who come down into the ring to, I have to say, and I will admit, in one of the best looking lucha masks and lucha entrances I have ever fucking seen.
That was his old mask. That's why it was his Phantasma character he was paying tribute to. I'll just start by saying I think this match was great overall. I think I wouldn't say they set the bar for ladder matches because that's a bit of a stretch in its own right. But I definitely think that them. What are you shrugging me for?
I'm not happy with this match at all.
All right, yeah. Anyways, as I was saying, I wouldn't say it set the bar for ladder matches, but it's definitely something which showed what the NXT guys can do, when given the opportunity. And they're both hard hitting. Jordan loves doing his headbutts. Santos with his chops.
Can I just say, I'm going to go on my rant now. We just praised the fans for being back in the arena, but the fans ruined this match. Because they literally made no input into this match whatsoever. They were booing and cheering for each of them. There was no distinct.
I thought they were booing Devlin, weren't they?
No, they were at one point they were booing both, and then they were both cheering them, and they were both booing them. It's like, fuck, what?
No, but then they do for boo. When they're doing boo, when they were doing that punch,
yeah, they're booing Devlin when he punched. Yeah, then that was halfway through, and then all that. But okay, so my opinion, we all know that I love Devlin, and I think he's one of the biggest up and coming wrestlers in.
No doubt, he's still got a long way to go. He's only
but
20-something years old.
the booking
Not
of
exactly
this
that old.
match was terrible.
Really?
The ladders thought were okay. I didn't think this was a great ladder match. I thought this was a good ladder match. I was unimpressed with it. I thought all the spots that were going on would just made look the dive through the ropes for Devlin to hit the ladder that was stacked up on the outside was a very good spot. And the end of the match where Devlin goes through the ladder was an excellent spot, and that looked friggin'
That
brutal.
was savage as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. Even I felt bad for Devlin.
Yeah, that was brutal. But look, my opinion of Escobar is I think he's a good wrestler. He's a good wrestler. He's got that it factor that I don't think most Mexican lucha wrestlers have in WWE. I think he hold on. Let me talk. Let me finish. I think he has a bigger prospect than Andrade. But
yeah, I'll agree on that one.
But the way they booked him makes him look like shit. He was facing George Devlin one-on-one, and he has to get two people to help him win it, which makes him look less of a champion. Okay, my opinion. Right, now listen, this is my opinion.
Yeah, go for it.
This is what I think.
I'll say my part as well.
With the Shawn Michaels Razor Ramon match, for the same type of thing, no one interfered. You need these matches to no one interfere and just find out who is the best wrestler, who is someone that wants to win it more. I also go back to as well, and I was thinking about this. What has Escobar done for his title reign while Jordan Devlin has been in the UK stuck because of COVID and restrictions and can't move? What has Escobar done with that NXT Cruiserweight title to bring people to watch 205 Live, to bring people to watch Cruiserweight wrestling? He hasn't done anything. He defends it.
He's kept it. He's defended it. He's kept it on TV.
He's walked out on TV. Yeah, fair enough. He doesn't defend it. I think he's defended it a handful of times in the time that he's had it. He hasn't made any matches he's been in. If you're the champion, hasn't made someone a star coming out of it. No one that's faced him has come out of the end looking like a star. My opinion doesn't make a great champion. My opinion, if you're a champion, like I'm going to say this now, Johnny Gargano, everyone doesn't like him. Everyone's bored of him. He made Bronson Reed a star in that match, and he made any title defense he makes, the opponent that he goes up against comes out looking 20 times better than when going in. Jordan Devlin come out looking like someone who still has a butt to grind because two people interfered. And Escobar, the only reason Escobar's hold on, and I'm nearly finished. I promise you, I'm nearly finished. The only reason why Escobar won't get as much hate for how that match ended was because of his son coming out. And he did that, put the mask on him, and he held the other title. That's the only reason why Escobar won't get any hate now, because of that moment. This was, and I will say this now, and I'm happy to say this every so. This was the worst decision NXT have made for a title match. There's no rhyme or reason for Jordan Devlin to hold that NXT Cruiserweight title, defend it all in the NXT UK while stuck in quarantine, being the actual true champion, and then go over to America for one match, lose it in a ladder match. So, what was the fucking point of give it to him in the first place then?
Let me just say, you keep saying they interfered. They only came in for like half a second, and he told them to go, so he didn't need them anyway. He just said,
No, he come in, they beat the shit out of him, threw him off a ladder, beat him, and then he went go. Well, that's going to work after you've beaten him after death.
Yeah, but then after that, Jordan recovered and he carried on fine after that. So
but it's still that stigma in the match. It doesn't matter what happened afterwards or before it. It's still that stigma where someone interfered for him to win.
For me, an interference has to be a little bit more than that, and has to be to a point where it was a bit more. It takes the balance off. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't take that balance off because Jordan recovered from it and he carried on fine. And they had a few ladder spots after that. So I don't see how the interference even counts as anything. Now that said, I will be fair. I do feel bad for Devlin losing it because it does kind of sound a bit, he just came out of quarantine and all that other shit. But I'm also thinking that there might be some plans for him after that. Maybe just hear me out. Maybe they're going to move Devlin onto something else. Maybe they might give him Finn Balor to work with. Maybe we might see Balor and
Yeah,
Devlin
this
versus
is this was the thing
Phantasma.
that I spoke about yesterday on Twitter. After the match, after I slightly calmed down, after the match was either Devlin's now gonna go back to NXT UK and go one-on-one with Walter, and I tweeted that on there, and I got quite a lot of responses for that as a good idea for that. Or they could team Devlin up with Finn and do something with that, where they take things over, do great things. I don't know. I can't. We'll go to Finn Balor and Cross in a little bit later
Yeah,
on. But
I've seen a lot of people talking about
but Escobar is a very good wrestler. Escobar is very good on the mic. He got absolutely ripped the shit out of against Devlin in the press conference. You could see Devlin had his number in that press conference on the mic, and you could tell that
that.
he felt uncomfortable at certain points on that.
I
But
think Devlin was a bit whiny as well, but yeah, let's carry
oh
on.
yeah, that's just Devlin though. That's just Sean
Yeah, I
Devlin.
know, but I'm just saying, you just
That's
get
his
whiny.
career.
Yeah, you good, you good, you good. I'm just like, oh yeah, okay,
That's
great.
just him. So I think Escobar is someone that is going to have a massive future, but
I
this
will
was a
say, yeah,
very
sorry, yeah.
bad decision to give him the title.
I think personally, I think that I have no problem with it because I think he presents himself as the world champion should. So I haven't got a problem with him keeping it for the time being. But I do say I just feel like I think that even his time in NXT might just be reaching his days now. And uh, I mean, I'd like to see him just moving on to feuding with guys like Garza, guys like guys like Umberto. I'd love to see Edge versus Santos. I think them two could have some crazy matches. I think those are the kind of things he needs to move on to now because we've seen that he can work with the bigger guys like Cross, which is something which I don't see a lot of the other guys doing. Trying to mix up with the bigger guys. Probably gonna get flagged for saying that, but I said it anyway. But yeah, I think that I feel like sorry, losing track what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I feel like that I'm fine for it for now, but I do want to see him move up, and then they can carry on building the division.
Let's go on
Next match, please.
Yeah, let's go on to the next match. We're now going to go on Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Takeover, Johnny kick him in the ding ding, Johnny missed the takeover.
Johnny same face.
Don't care. And I'm gonna say this now, especially after this match, one of the greatest NXT wrestlers in NXT history, Johnny Gargano versus Bronson Reed for the North American title on there. And as I said, there has not been a match where Johnny Gargano has come into it where he hasn't made Bronson Reed has come out of this match looking 20 times better than he was going into it, all because of what Johnny Gargano and
I'll say
did in this match.
thing is that with Gargano is as great as he is before. I've never taken that away from him. I still remember his match with Andrade years ago. I think probably one of the best matches I've ever seen in a long time. The thing about Gargano is, as much as I like him, I still think that there are guys that can just be a little bit more interesting to watch, like Ciampa. That's the thing. So I feel like
I find Gargano quite interesting to watch.
I think Ciampa is just a bit better than Gargano. Yeah, you just outdoes him by a bit more. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think he is.
Well,
I think Ciampa's a very, very good wrestler, but Gargano has this consistency and has this aura about him when it comes to a takeover and you see Gargano's name on the page, you go, okay, this match is going to be good. This match is going to be epic. I'm really looking forward to this match. With Ciampa, it's very much okay. This is going to be quite good. I'm looking, yeah. But with Gargano, is either he's going to come out looking like an absolute weapon or a beast, or the other person's going to come out looking like that and he's going to look like he just got away with it. There's always a story behind Gargano of how he wrestles. Yeah, out the side of the ring, you might find him boring, blah, 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 blah. But I'm going to say this now, and I saw someone tweet this, and I think I completely agree with them after yesterday. How they portrayed with what they did with Reed, how they targeted a certain place for it to benefit him in the long run was one, excellent storytelling, but two, he made Bronson Reed look like an absolute beast.
And I feel like I'll be biased when I say this, but I feel like this should have really been Reed's moment, and I think like he should have really been like the guy to hold North American title at this point because you've seen them really build him up for the past 6 months since they've enhanced his insurance more and given him something to show more. Because I don't know if you remember this at all, but I still remember reading this report or report rumor, we want to call it, and it basically said that the officials aren't high on Bronson Reed. I was just like, oh god, this better be true. But if and the way I see it is, I figure that Reed is Harry. He's obviously going to say, okay, let me prove them wrong, and I think he's pretty much proven a lot of people wrong since he's um, had these big matches and been put in if you will the deeper end to show what he can do. So I think that this really should have been the moment to make Reed, in all honesty, because I think that it would have been great to see him just finally say proving them wrong.
Yeah, and as I say, we both picked Bronson Reed to win, but as I said, I'm not disappointed whatsoever with how the outcome of that match finished, and I think Bronson Reed is going to get there. And I tweeted this saying he has that it factor. Bronson Reed has that it thing that you starting to become believable, but
I think they should just move him to the main roster.
Yeah, and I do think this as well. I think he's not ready yet. He will be. He's not there yet. And I feel like we know when he's there yet, and he's not there.
I'd put him, if it was up to me, I'd just put him with Roman. I'd make him his bodyguard or something like that, something along the lines like his bouncer or it's like, something which would fit his, role. Because I think that he'd be perfect for it. He doesn't have to talk. He can just stand there, be the guy that beats the living shit out of his opponent, the guys he wants to.
Right.
So that's what I'd be doing.
Let's go from the way 1 to the way 2. The NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match. By the way, before we get into anything, I just wanted to say this as well. Mickie James on commentary on the pre-show was brilliant, by the way. I thought she was really entertaining, and I really liked her on there.
You're probably going to be getting hate for this, but I didn't really pay attention to the pre-show as much.
No, I didn't watch much of it. I think I only watched the second one. I
wasn't really paying a lot of attention to it. Well, who was it again? It was flip's sake.
Tony Storm and Zoe Stark.
Oh yes. Now I remember. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, I remember that.
Where Zoe Stark beat Tony Storm.
Yeah, I was watching that part as well. Yeah, sorry, I was paying attention, but I was watching on the phone. I was just like I wasn't really that invested. Like, I
think it's been talked about as well that she's going up to to Raw or SmackDown as well. Tony Storm.
Who, Tony?
Yeah, I have heard that's the reason why she lost.
I would have loved to see her hold the NXT Women's title, but I don't know. I think it's just like it comes to a point where it's just like, is it worth us holding somebody back for this long when they can just move her on somewhere else? Let's see how she does elsewhere. And if worse comes to worse, we can just bring her back.
Exactly.
It's not the end of the world.
So let's go from one woman to the women's tag team match. Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon versus The Way in Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. I thought this was a very, very good tag team match. I thought
Yeah. One thing I've got to say, Zoe Stark is also going to be a star.
Yeah, she is. But I thought you could tell that these women are getting better and better and better at tag team wrestling. And this is the main reason why I said this tag team title is an excellent reason for NXT UK and NXT and any other tag team championship. This is the reason why they need to do it, is to build tag teams. And they're doing it.
Can I just say I wasn't really invested in this match as much. I was kind of like zoned out. I was on Twitter trying to deal with a few comments and stuff. So I was kind of zoned out a little bit. And I'm going to be honest with you, I saw a few good spots here and there.
I know what you're going to say about spots here and there.
It's not about Candice. It's more about the way they're using Indy Hartwell. I'm just getting tired of.
This is the thing that I want to. Indy Hartwell is very, very new and very young in the business. So I don't think shoving her well. She may be good, but she's nowhere near as good as what she should be holding those tag team titles yet at all. I think Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart are the perfect tag team at the moment to be holding these titles. I think, but I want to say this as well. just before we get into anything, I just want to read this to everyone that's watching or listening to this. Candice LeRae on Instagram after the match with Indy Hartwell has posted something that I think a lot of people need to go and check out and listen to it. I'm going to read what she says, but go and give it a like and a follow afterwards. So she's put, sometimes in life sends you someone and you need unexpectedly. And you can tell by my rare social media posts, I'm a pretty private person. However, I will share this with you. This is all about Indy Hartwell, by the way. I needed this woman more than I could ever known, and I need her to come into my life now. She is so special and has given me a whole new love for wrestling that can come at a perfect time. I believe in her, and yes, as the pun says, I support indie wrestling. And thanks for being such a great inspiration to the old lady. Thanks for standing by me and working with me. And thanks for not taking life too serious and helping me be savage. And for what these kids call these days, legend. And finally, thanks for helping me feel like worth the sacrifice. Lucky to have a partner and a friend. Congratulations on your first of so many takeovers, Indy Hartwell. And I'll tell you what, I didn't realize, okay, and I admit this now, I knew that Candice LeRae has a history with tag team wrestling with a certain someone that will not be named on this podcast due to his abuse things.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
I'm not going there. So she has a history of that. But I saw something today that, according to Triple H and Shawn Michaels, that Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and Finn Balor have been doing more behind the scenes in producing matches for other talent, as well as doing their own thing, than they are at the moment. So, in my opinion, I think Candice LeRae, I think Indy Hartwell is going to be a star. Yes, she's going to be, but she needs more time under Candice LeRae to get there. She needs to be learning a lot more before she gets there, and she needs that person with her for her to do it.
The thing is that I just don't see her getting a lot from Candice at this point. I think that she should really be in a tag team
More
with somebody
knowledge.
younger.
No, it's more knowledge. You've got to look at it not at what you're
talking about.
This is more
I'm not
knowledge.
talking about. I'm not talking about behind the scenes. I'm sure, yeah, that's great. She's a pardon me. You know, Candice is a veteran, of course. She's done some crazy stuff with the Indies, etc. Blah blah blah. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about on screen. I'm talking about somebody she can work with. That, you know, like I'd be tag teaming her with somebody who's, you know, one of her mates. You know, that, you know, they could be a tag team that way, and then they can learn from Candice at the same time back to her. That's what I'd rather be seeing her doing, to be honest.
I'm happy with what they're doing. I think what they're doing with Indy Hartwell,
I'm just not sold with this whole the way thing. I mean, they're funny, yes, they can make me laugh here and there, but I'm just not sold in the way.
I think this is more of a long term. I think if you look at the way that I look at the way is more like the evolution of what they did with Batista and Randy Orton, what Flair and Triple H are doing.
No.
What Candice, hold on, I'm fucking talking. I said that Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano are doing excellent work for Austin Theory and Indy Hartwell for them for the future. You cannot rush talent to get to where they get. No matter if you think they're a star, they need to be having that veteran head around them to help them. It's simple.
I'm afraid I don't see it. I'd say that they're more like La Familia, you know, when Edge had, you know, the Guerrero, you know, Chavo.
Yeah, but they were more of the bodyguards. These are not bodyguards. These are wrestlers.
Yeah, but they're the ones taking the pins though a lot. You know, we've seen them make Austin Theory look like the clown, which he's doing a good job of. He's funny.
He's fucking brilliant.
But we've seen him, you know, take a lot of losses, and we've seen Indy take a lot of losses. That's what my main qualm is, if you will. Now, when I think of evolution, modern evolution, I'd say it's something more along the lines of the Hurt Business. You know, I'd say something more along the lines of, you know, Roman's Empire, when we eventually see that the bloodline, when because they're going to keep carrying on. You know, we've already seen like Paul Heyman is like their Ric Flair, you know, slash manager, and Roman's obviously their Triple H. Jey Uso
but I do
Randy
think,
Orton,
look, they may be, and some people may like them, some people may not, but I think what Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano are doing, we all know Austin Theory has a very mean streak. We know Austin Theory can be one of the best heels, but has he got that switch side that you also need as well? And you need to have both sides.
I've got a good question for you. I've got a good question for you. I mean, you probably I don't know how well you remember this, but remember last year when they brought in Austin Theory, the Joy, Zelina Andrade,
Yeah.
and Angel Garza. Did you think that they were actually going to do anything with them as a stable?
No.
And okay, and do you think that they could? Did you wait? What was your opinion when he joined Seth's group for a bit before what came in? Then he was gone for a bit. Do you think that that could have gone somewhere, or do you think it was better for Austin to go back to NXT? Do you think he was ready for any of that big
I
push at
think
all?
I think I think he would have had a better time with Seth Rollins than he would have done with Andrade, the Andrade Selena Gomez thing. I think with Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy would have been really interesting because Seth Rollins, in my opinion, has the best drip in WWE, as the kids call these days. But he is also one of the best wrestlers in the world. And we all know that. And to have the knowledge and experience of Seth Rollins, but if you can't have Seth Rollins because he's gone off and done things and he got injured and all the things happened that needed to be dealt with, for him to go to someone like in NXT as well, which I feel like they wanted to do more with him in NXT, but then he moved, was to pair him with someone who is the same type of Seth Rollins, but in NXT. You've got the knowledge, you've got the experience, you've got one of the best wrestlers in NXT history. You've got one of the best minds of the business, and you've got someone who loves wrestling inside and out and does everything for it, is Johnny Gargano. And I think this will help Austin Theory for the future. And this is going to make him a bigger star than what he's already going to
I mean,
be.
I remember Jim, good old Jim Cornette. He basically said that he thinks that Austin, he's definitely got a big future ahead of him. He just thinks that it's because he still looks too young.
Yeah.
He just needs to give him a few more years and let him get a bit
He's
more.
too young at the moment to do anything proper with him. He
I
need
mean,
he
I can see
need
where they're coming from.
he needs that experience, and he needs to be in situations before he gets that push. He can't the way that I look at it is you don't want to do a Randy Orton where you gave him the title and then lose it, was it 30 days later, or do a Christian, but that Christian, the
Uh,
young Randy Orton, to give him a title and then lose it straight away. It just loses himself of who he is.
nah, I mean, the thing with the Randy situation was that they wanted to get the title on him from Chris Benoit. Yes, I said his name. They wanted to get the title of him. They wanted to get the title of him, and the plan was to keep it within Evolution, so that way they could build the story around himself and Triple H. So I think you have to understand it was never meant to be a long
No, I
term
know
thing.
that, but at the same time,
It was to
you
give him that
can't
rub.
give that a kid. He is a kid. He's 21, I think he is, or he's young.
Yeah,
Austin Theory,
I think he's 20
and
something, 22, isn't he?
yeah,
23.
and
Yeah,
you
but
can't be giving
Randy was
someone
24.
a push at the moment. Not in WWE. You could do it in the Indies happily because you're
Mm.
not going to get as many eyes, as many stuff that you're going to need to be doing. In WWE, you can't do that. You have to have the experience. You're going to have the knowledge.
Yeah, but
You're
I'm
going
saying
to
they
have
gave.
everything about it.
What I'm trying to say is they gave Randy the big moment, the big
Yeah, and
rub when he was
look how much
24.
that backfired on them.
It backfired, but the thing was that the plan was that for the next year when he was at the Rumble, I can't remember what it was. It was him and Batista, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was around that time. The plan was to get them to as the main focus, and I think around it was just I don't remember. Was it the fan? I can't remember that well. So I think it was the fans that lost interest in Randy, wasn't it, as a
Yeah, but it's the
face?
same because it was all because of how they dealt with it. That's what I'm saying. If you're a 24-year-old like Randy Orton was at the time when he won the world title, terrible idea. It was good because he was doing well and it was good to see with the evolution, but to lose the title that quickly, you're just gonna switch off on that wrestler. Just
But let me
shows
just,
that he didn't need to have that title.
but let me just add, just because it doesn't get said enough. If you've watched this match with Benoit at SummerSlam 2004, it was a crazy match. Then Randy was coming as a young kid, and he was proving himself against the guy who's one of the most. I don't want to cause controversy myself, but he was. Let's be honest, you can't take it away. Benoit was one of the best professional wrestlers of his time, even back then.
Yeah, he was all right. He was all right. Right, let's get off Benoit
I
topic.
know it. I know you're trying to, but yeah, I'm just trying to say is that Randy proved that he could hang with the best at a
Yeah.
young age.
And as well, Austin will get there, but he's still young. He needs to be
Who
learning.
would you say? Who would you say is? Let's put it this way: Randy, Austin is Randy. Who is the Benoit to Austin's Randy? Who would you say?
Probably Ciampa.
Nah, I wouldn't go. I don't know. I don't think it'd be
I don't
Ciampa.
really know. Well, because you wouldn't class Benoit as a good rivalry either, because he didn't really have a rivalry. If you're going to go Randy Orton's rivalries, you're going to have to go either Christian, John Cena,
No, but what I'm
or
saying was
Edge.
that Benoit put Randy on the map. He gave him that extra. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, well, someone who's going to put Austin Theory on the map.
Yes.
Oh, Johnny Gargano.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. I mean, I would have said Seth Rollins.
No, Johnny Gargano will be the one that will make Austin Theory that guy easily.
Or even Cesaro for that matter. Another guy who can go in the ring.
Cesaro is probably still waiting for his world title shot by the time that happens. So we'll see that. Let's get on to the next one. The two
let's do it.
main events we've got. Start off with Cross versus Balor in this match. My God, this was such a good match.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, it was great. No, I zoned out for a second. I actually thought for a second. Let me just do the entrances quickly. Obviously, Cross, he's got a crazy entrance. I already say that. I can't wait to see what his main entrance will be one day because it'll be
I
crazy.
don't care about Mania. I just want to sit in the stadium and just experience it. I just want to experience it once.
Scarlett, we all love Scarlett. Now when Finn made his entrance, I thought for a second that he was going to give us the big swerve and he's going to come out with his demon body
I
paint.
saw so many people say that. I was like, it was not going to happen because he tweeted beforehand a picture of himself holding the title saying, "No other gimmick, just using my own." No
but I'm saying they can easily.
used, and I'm like,
just...
yeah, he ain't coming out in it.
No, but the thing is that you can easily just turn around and be like, psych, you know what I mean? But
yeah, he was never going to do that. It was like, I saw
loads
loads of people going, "Oh, I thought he was going to bring out the demon." I went,
it's because it's because when he put the demon picture on the screen, everyone, that's when it was just like, we haven't seen him, making any like reference to.
They really focused on that picture for a while.
That's my point. No, but that's my point. It's like we haven't seen any reference to his, to that character in a while. So
no, we haven't.
That's my point. Is like it was a bit like, okay, we haven't seen that in a while. Is that supposed to be what I think it's supposed to be? But fair play. We can always. I'm sure that when he brings it back, he'll definitely get a louder pop than we expect. Entrances aside, man, I'm not gonna lie. This match, I thought, I'm not saying it was Ciampa Walter level, but it was definitely like
brutal.
Like I could, huh?
It was brutal.
It was definitely brutal as hell. And I remember for me, comment of the night was when I think it was Finn started slapping Cross in the face, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, he slapped.
And
He slapped Cross in the face. I went, oh.
And then Barrett goes on commentary. He's trying to piss Cross off. I just like, yeah, that's probably the best way to put it because that pretty much was that. Like, in my opinion, I think there's only a few guys, in my opinion, that can have come close to getting under Cross's skin, and that's my guy Priest and Balor.
I hope that WrestleMania that Bad Bunny turns on Priest and still wins. Anyway, just want to see the internet meltdown.
I've heard that Priest is actually Priest. Bad Bunny. I've heard that Bad Bunny's been at the Performance Center quite intensely over the past 3 months. So I'm gonna say don't be surprised if he's gonna take a bump or two because.
I'm looking forward to that. So
yeah,
I think my opinion on this match was I think that the press conference really built this match to what Finn was saying. It was all about mind games. Finn really tried to play the mind game on Cross, where he painted the arm, the red across the arm, and which was the target for what was it Cross injured or the one that he injured before? It was like an X marks a spot.
Not
only that as well, every time Cross did a move, he got up and laughed into Cross's face saying, "Is that all you got?" And then that wound Cross up more and more. But I have to say this, that I do think this, and I think this is really poignant to say that match was the best NXT championship match for a very, very, very long time. And I think it really helped with the fact that Cross was so good. And Finn is at the best at where he is now. And there's no one in the world, apart from Walter, who is at the level where Finn Balor's been over the past title reign. So, and I said this on Twitter as well. The next step for Finn is Walter. The next step for Cross is anyone. Anyone. And I think that this is going to be a very long title reign.
Okay, let me just say, I just remember those. It's funny you bring up the press conference and Finn at the press conference because I just remember that for some reason, I don't know why, but it just hit me now. They kind of, I felt a bit like when I look back on that, it's very reminiscent to when, to his Prince Devitt days when he was doing press conferences in New Japan and, getting, really just, getting all mouthy and shit, saying all kinds of things like, I don't give a fuck and stuff and whatnot. And I feel like, yeah, it's definitely, they've really tapped into, he's really, should I say, he's really got tapped into his old, former self from 10 years ago, which is great because he's showing why it's easy to look at him, as a generic, average size, I don't want to say cruiserweight, but yeah, I suppose you can say that. Yeah, he can qualify as a cruiserweight, but yeah, it's easy to look at him at that when you take away those qualities. But when you give them back to him and you let him show what he can do, and don't make him go out there and smile and just represent the LGBTQ, LGBTQ community, which is a good thing, but shouldn't be the main focus. Thank you, Stephanie McMahon. Then he can be something more of a star.
And I think it's interesting as well that I feel like this is the best wrestling he's ever done. And I want to pick up what he said on the pre-show, on the build-up. He was sat down with Samoa Joe, who was talking to each of the competitors. And he goes to Finn about what drives him. And he goes, it doesn't drive me. It pisses me off. And he used these words as well. Why I have to prove that I am the best wrestler in the world. Why am I the underdog when I have been top of my game for 20 years and I still am the underdog? I should not be the underdog. I am the best wrestler in the world.
Can I just say as well, I can't be the one who says this before this, but what did you just get a little bit of chills when you saw Samoa Joe and Finn Balor talking like
no, I got
ages.
more of a chills when it was when Samoa Joe was sat down with Cross. I was like, I want to fucking see this.
No. That was good as well. But I'm saying, but when it came to Finn, in my opinion, 2015, 2016, Finn and Joe had one of the best feuds in a long time.
That was a very good feud.
I still remember when I went to take over back in 2015 at London, and Joe and Finn, man, that match, it was crazy. And I felt that should have been Joe's night, but Finn and Joe have had some crazy matches in my opinion, and I felt like that was definitely it definitely felt like a throwback when we saw them two together.
Right.
But that said, let me just say I think that Cross, obviously I picked Finn to win it because I've heard a lot of talk about Cross being moved to the main roster at some point. I think that I'll just summarize it this way: Finn has had a good run, had a great second run with the NXT title, and I'd like to see where he goes from there. I wouldn't say I have a problem with him going to the main roster right now, but I do think that he could have an NXT UK run before he does anything else.
Yeah, I would like to see him come back home.
I'd like to see him
over here.
I'm not saying I wouldn't want to see him face Walter, but I just hope Walter doesn't kill him. That's all I'm going to say on that one. And as for Cross, pardon me, I want to see Cross have a good run with the NXT title. It has to be a lengthy run. He has to run through the division. He has to kill every person that comes up to him until he faces a guy who's at least twice his size and can actually bring out the best of him. And then I don't mind seeing him going to the main roster. That's what I'm going to say.
It's going to be interesting. I hope they do it. Right. Last match of the night. Unsanctioned. One of the best video packages for a match that I think I have ever seen in my entire life. Building up to this. Whoever made that, fair fucking play. That was epic. Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. They both have new music. Both have Kyle O'Reilly has good music. Adam Cole, can please someone get Jim Johnson back and fucking get some actual good music back into WWE? That would be absolutely lovely because that just...
I think your voice is coming off a little bit.
Most generic song I've ever heard in my whole entire life.
Your voice is... Yeah, I can't...
I'm fine, my end. It's your end.
Can I just say,
There we go. Oh, we're back. Oh, yeah, we go.
yeah, what I'm trying to say is that let me just add that I think a lot of people, I saw a lot of people complaining about the music situation, etc.
Shit.
Let me just say this: there's two things you take into account. CFOs are no longer there. They didn't sell the rights to their music. That's on them. That's why people have to change songs. Secondly, the situation people need to understand is that when it comes to music, it's not a simple thing. Like you can't just change a song like that easily. You have to be able to make it. And what they have at the time, they either take what they've got, or they have to wait even longer for it. That's what we
But
saw with
there's no
Keith Lee
point.
when he got that
There's
generic
no
crap for a
point
bit.
changing
But
Adam
no,
Cole's music for that shit. It was awful.
but that said, I think that that's just a demo of what they're going to do, and then they can fix up some more. So I don't think that's the be all end all yet with the music. What I'm trying to say is that you have to understand is that they still are working on it most of the time.
Scrap.
That's what I'm trying to get out there.
Scrap. Shit.
I'm not saying it's not crap. I never
Shit.
said it's not crap. I'm
I
not
don't
saying
care
it's
they're
not
working on it. Shit.
I said it's shit.
Is it Williams? JD Williams? Is that his name? The one on NXT does all the
No,
rap.
it wasn't. He wasn't the one doing it though.
No, I know. I'm not saying he
Def
is.
Jam.
I'm saying who's the guy that always raps? Is it JD Williams?
Yeah, JD Williams. Yeah.
Yeah, I want him
Yeah.
to grab that song and change it to what he wants because that bloke can
He
make
can.
fucking great music. Just give it to him.
He can make great music.
Just get rid of that
He
shit.
can make great music. He can make great music. Just start to the stupid NXT fans online who have to crap on anything, which is anything.
It's not just crap on anything.
outside
It
of
was
rock.
shit. If you're gonna have a big build up, a big someone to have a new music, even if look, he could have used this the Undisputed Era music for the time being until they gave him a good one. Kyle O'Reilly was alright; it did okay for him. It works with him. Adam Cole one's just awful.
I had a good theme song. I saw people complaining about that as well, but I was like, that still has a good beat to it. It's still.
Stop talking. Stop. It's shit.
I never said it's not shit.
I'm overruling in you now, right? Stop trying to defend it. Jim Johnson needs to come back and actually do something with it. Right, let's talk about the match before we get into carry on moaning about the shit music. What was your thinking of this match? How did you feel about the match?
1 second. Let me just take a bit of water because you kind of spelled me off now a little bit.
Well, because of your shit music.
Well, it's not my music.
Shit music. Oh, he did a Triple H. I was waiting for you to spit it out then.
Yeah, anyway.
Please do it.
Music aside.
Please do Triple H.
The match itself. Let me just add that I watched the Ring of Honor match that Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole had back in 2016.
Oh, I made myself laugh. Anyway.
I watched their match from 2016.
Mm-hmm.
It was I can't remember what they dubbed it. Basically, it was a hardcore match of some sort, if you will. You've probably seen it as well, and they went all in on that. They went all in on that one, And in my opinion, that was definitely something. Like I was expecting them to bring elements of that into that, and they did just that with the chain, etc. This match, I said it on Twitter, and I'm sure you liked it as well. This match alone remade both Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. Yes, it did.
Look.
Pushed Kyle O'Reilly to the limits.
Yeah.
It pushed Adam Cole to his limits, and it brought the more sadistic side out of him, and showed like. I don't want to say psychopathic, but you basically, went like he beat up the referee for no reason,
Yeah.
He went off.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest here. And I'm probably going to get hate for this, but hey, I got put off by Kyle O'Reilly quite a lot building up to this match.
Why?
His promos were shit. It was awful. I did not. I found him.
I disagree, but okay.
Very generic in anything I saw. When he was sat down with Samoa Joe, I was bored. The press conferences, I got bored of when he was talking. There just seems something, but then you flip it over to Adam Cole, who, in my opinion, is one of the best talkers in professional wrestling. By the way he does things and does stuff, but if I take that away and out of the way, and you look at the wrestling match, Kyle O'Reilly is probably one of the best technician wrestlers. He's not the best because Pete Dunne is, and he proved that in a match.
I'd say Kyle's more submission.
Yeah, more submission, more MMA based wrestling on there. And he proved
more
that
realistic.
he's one of the best.
No, I'm saying he's more realistic with his stuff. You know, he can really like just when you think this is going to happen, he can he can really do that. His reversing, his skills in his skills in reversing the stuff. I think like man, I just think to myself, this guy could have some great groundwork matches with a guy like Chad Gable, with a guy like Aleister Black, with a guy like guys with Kushida, etc. That I think he could have those sort of great submission matches. So I think Kyle really stands out on that on his own.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. And I think the whole way through that match, we're not going to go too much into it because everyone needs to go and watch it, and everyone will see it. And there were spots in there where it was just absolutely brutal. And I think at the end of the day, I think that it was the correct winner. We both went for Adam Cole.
Yeah.
But looking at the match and how the match went and the storytelling and everything that went into that match, I have to say it was the correct winner. The correct winner come out on that. The right person did it. To the way it finished, that finisher, the way it finished was absolutely brutal.
I want to say that that was probably one of the few matches I've seen that made me think this is the finish, this is the finish, this is the finish. You know what I mean? I think like it literally had me like on my seat, if you will. Like it caught me off guard on that. I legitimately thought that they were going to finish it at this spot, at this spot, at this spot, but they just, what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
They really, got it. They, in my opinion, they got it so right with this one. And I'm gonna say I think it's probably one of the best. Oh, okay, not one of the best. I still think Ciampa and Gargano had a better match along those lines when Ciampa pulled off the ring mat and gave the widow's bell, he calls it, isn't it, on the wood? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I still think Ciampa had a bet. Ciampa and Gargano did better with that. But that said, I'm just going to talk about the aftermath. Obviously we saw Adam Cole going off on the stretcher, and we saw Kyle O'Reilly, taking, looking back and everything after all that he'd gone through. I will say, I think he did get coached at the end with to point, because I remember he turned around for a second, looked back. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
He looked back and he had to face forward again, because I think referee Drake Wirtz, who's paid by the internet as well, I think he might have told him that he had to face forward again and do that point, whatever it was. He's still got a lot to learn, I guess. I think that really told the story alone, that this feud is definitely, really, there's no more Undisputed Era anymore. You can just tell after seeing that.
Undisputed Era is dead, and I think that it's either going to go one of two ways. This is going to go with Adam Cole, and I think there was a hint on the press conference call afterwards that Triple H said he could still be an NXT moving forward. Adam Cole could still be around, but I think the way you end the match is he's not. I think he will now go on to Raw or SmackDown, do something a little bit different, or stay in NXT and say that you didn't actually beat me because it's unsanctioned, and do it that way. So I don't know. I think the way they ended the match was a really good way to get the fans invested. Kyle O'Reilly needed that win because he's lost the last three, I think, main event takeover matches that he's been in, with two with Finn. I don't know what the other one. It might have just been two. Sorry, with the last two losing it, and I think he needed this win to be legitimately be a guy that could go on and get an NXT title in the future.
I think what I'm going to say is I think that to really make this match be something, they need to keep Adam Cole off TV for a few months at least. Because they need to really sell it out. They really need to milk this one out.
It'll be on Twitch tomorrow.
It can go this way. Pardon me?
It'll be on Twitch tomorrow.
Oh God, yeah. What I'm trying to say is they really need to sell this one off, as a real big deal. As in, like, when they say you cut your, like, I remember probably a bit of talk when I say this, but if you remember Charles Bronson, the prisoner, he said interview apparently to Tom Hardy that when he ever escaped and he got his foot cut, stuck in a river, he'd cut it off and just keep running because no matter how much it hurts now, it will move. You could I'll benefit more in the long run.
Yeah.
In Kyle O'Reilly's case, he's cut off Adam Cole. As much as it hurts him, he can move on, and that part of him is behind him. That's what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to get at though with Adam Cole is that I think they need to keep him off TV for a few months, and whichever way they go, they either keep him on NXT or they move him on to Raw or SmackDown. But even then, they can always have him show up at some point just to be like, here, remember me, kind of thing. Blah blah blah. We ain't unfinished business, etc. That's the way I see they go with it. But they have to keep him off TV for a few months, not bring him back in a week, not 2 weeks, not 3 weeks. It has to be a few months.
It's not happening. It'll be back by Monday.
I'm trying to say.
It's not going to happen. So in the overall, that's the end of all of it. Overall score, with all the predictions over the next 2 days, Gulam is winning 16 to 15, 1 point behind. But we have SmackDown and the 2 nights of WrestleMania coming up, which we are very much looking forward to as well. I think night 1, I think we've agreed on all of the winners. I think on night 1 we have everyone exactly the same. So it's going to be interesting. Don't forget to go and give us a like. Go and hit that thumbs up to let us know, and we will go from there. Go on.
You've got to ask what was better, night 1 or night 2 out of 10 as well.
Night 1. I think I got annoyed more on night 2 than I did night 1.
I'll give night 2 a 9 out of 10, but I will say I still enjoyed it just as much, but I think night 1 was still a bit more. Actually, no. I will say night 1 as interesting as well. I think night 2 still had caught me off guard with a few things because it really was unpredictable. Night 2, none of us could call who'd win between Cross and Finn. None of us could call who'd win between Kyle and Adam because it was just it was just like at that point where it depends how the match goes and how they book it. So I feel like night 2 really caught me off guard in a few things which I liked about it. It wasn't predictable in that sense.
Yeah, I agree. So I think both of them were 5 stars. It's all now up to the people on Raw on SmackDown to try and top what they did on TakeOver.
I will say it'll be, we've heard of the crowd at NXT show. Imagine what 10,000 will sound like when we're at the stadium.
It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be like something else. It'll be something else.
I'm looking forward to it.
I feel it'll actually be better than the usual. Not better than any other WrestleMania before, but I think the problem which I have with some WrestleManias is that you can never really hear the crowd as much. If you ever noticed,
no, it's open stadium.
That's my point. So I think with the 10,000, whatever they're going to have, I think 20,000, isn't it? They're going to have
25, I think.
25. I think that'll be a lot better.
I think it will make it worse. Because if you listen to the wrestlers, they say, because when it's an arena, the sound travels around. When you're in an open arena, the sound goes up. And there's a lot less fans and the sound's going up. I think it's going to be interesting. I don't think that it's going to be special, this type of crowd. I think it's going to be interesting, but I don't think it's special. Right, we're not talking about Mania. It's not about Mania. It's about TakeOver. So we will see you guys ever so much on Monday, where we will be reviewing our WrestleMania, and we will be back, not this Monday, but next Monday, where we will be reviewing the week after Mania with Raw after Mania, NXT moving to Tuesday nights for the first time, and Friday night SmackDown as well. We will review that, building up to whatever happens next, and you'll give us our thoughts. Gulam, you have been an absolute delight, and I know that I wind you up because it's so fucking easy to. And we will see you guys very, very soon. Don't forget, all love and all care, and we will see you guys very soon. Bye.